there have been top army brass members of the top army brass who've said things like, this is the time to get POK back and so on. What is the pragmatism of a move like that? And do you think, what are your thoughts really on this, Deepak ji?
You've asked me a very interesting question. I'd like to go back a little bit into history so that people understand. Now, Pakistan occupied Kashmir, we know all about it. They attacked us in 1947, October. The Maharaja of Kashmir signed an instrument of accession. We said, we are not going to help you till you accede to the Union of India formally. Let me also tell you that when we became independent, there were 565 Indian states. And well before the 15th of August 1947, when India became independent, Pakistan didn't. Pakistan was created. They were not a country before that date. So when this happened, ma'am, of the 565, 552 had already acceded to the Union of India before the day of independence. There was, in those days, there were no photocopiers, there was no WhatsApp, there was no whatever, and there were no electronic printers. So everything was cyclo-styled. You're too young to remember that. It was an identical document, and all the Maharajas, all the kings of the princely states, which accounted for about 35% of India, the rest was British India, 35% of India, and about 40% of the population. So all of them signed those documents saying, I hereby accede to the Union of India, etc. And then they would sign Maharaja, Dhiraja, Badiraja, Biraja, Kabiraja, ABC, BBC, CTD, whatever their titles were, they would sign that. And they gave it to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the Iron Man of India, one of the greatest statesmen ever to have walked on this planet. So he got them all. In the case of Kashmir, the Maharaja also signed the same thing, exactly the same document. The one exception was, in all the other cases, there used to be a Mountbatten fellow, I forget his name, my memory is fading. Mountbatten? What was his name? Fellow with a huge rear.
Mountbatten.
Yeah, Mountbatten, that's right. That's the fellow. So this guy, sorry. So this guy actually he would then send a letter, I accept the instrument of accession. That's what they were called. In the case of Kashmir, he said, yes, I accept it. And then he added on his own that soon after these raiders have gone back, we'll have a reference to the people. No one asked him to. He was not authorized to say that. But like all Brits, he was a perfidious Albion. So he decided that he would create something that would be a problem for India for years to come. And there's an Urdu poet who said, "Khata lamho ne ki, saza sadiyon ne pai," that you make a mistake in half a second and then you continue to suffer for centuries. We were doing this till a few years ago, till we said, thus far, no further, no more now, we're going to deal with it. Now, when we threw them out, whatever part of the state of Jammu and Kashmir they had occupied was very good. We threw them out, but they retained a certain part. There was a ceasefire. The rest remained with us. Story of Gilgit, Baltistan is very, very interesting, ma'am. It was the Maharaja's territory. So there was a major red or green or blue or brown or whatever. He was a British fellow. And he was the commander of the Gilgit Scouts. So this guy, when he heard that the Maharaja had signed the Instrument of Accession in 26th October, I think, 1947, he decided that he would betray the oath of loyalty that he had taken to the Maharaja, that he had sworn for the Maharaja. He was commanding the Maharaja's troops. So then he arrested the Maharaja's governor, a chap called Brigadier Ghansara Singh, whom I had met as a kid, and declared for Pakistan. And I'm told when that Tinna, Binna, whatever that character's name was, who was responsible for the creation of Pakistan, when he heard that, this chap had said, now Gilgit belongs to you, he said, where on earth is Gilgit? Never heard of it. So, but anyway, that fellow then got hold of it and they sent a chap and he took over. For a brief period, Gilgit was even, somebody declared independence and the Pakistani came in, the Pakistani army beat up the fellow and then they took over. So this is the story. Now, when you betray your oath, I have an oath to the Constitution of India, man. If I betray it, I'm guilty of treason. What do you think the Brits did? They made this guy a knight or a day or an evening. What do they call the fellows whom they give some title to? Knighting.
Sir something.
Yeah.
Sir something.
So it's knight something. He becomes Sir.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Knighthood.
Yes, Sir Betrayer or something like that is the title that they give him. Yes, it's not night. It's no, it's not day. It's night, right?
It's night.
It's not afternoon or evening. No, it's night. Okay.
It's night.
So yeah, so he withdrew into the night and whatever. So this is what happened. Now, effectively, legally, it belongs to me because when the Maharaja acceded to India, and this is very significant, he didn't say only this part is going to join India and the other part will not. All of his state joined us. I'm not going into the history of Jammu and Kashmir. It was bought by the Dogra Maharaja. All that you can see on that wicked, what is that wicked thing called? Everybody reads.
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia, that's right. So everybody reads that and they keep putting out all kinds of rubbish. So what happened at that point was, therefore, the entire state belonged to us. All of Kashmir belonged to us. Now we have the courage with the present regime, ma'am, and I pay tribute to my leader. I pay tribute to the foreign minister, to the Indian military. They said, Dr. S. Jaishankar, the foreign minister, said a couple of years ago, it's a matter of time before we exercise de facto jurisdiction in that area, because that's ours. And then the defense minister, the home minister also said, yes, it's ours. Now an army chief says, the moment we get the command, we are ready to move it. That means all the three elements, our diplomacy, our political executive, and the military are on the same page as far as this is concerned. Will we actually move in and take it over, ma'am? I don't know. But all I can say is that, and I love this phrase, they are making a mistake, those characters, by oppressing the people of Gilgit Baltistan. So when your adversary is making a mistake, don't stop him. Let him carry on because that nation is bound to implode. Let me share with you. You're as I mentioned earlier, you're my daughter's age, so forgive me. I go to Kargil. I'm special advisor in the remote Ladakh area. And sometimes when I sit in the Autonomous Hill Development Council office, I have a lot of these fellows, they come from Skardu, they come from Gilgit Baltistan, and they say to us that, they ask me when they know that a foreign service chap is here, an ambassador, could you please extend our visas? Because as the crow flies, it's 60, 70 kilometers, but then they have to go to Islamabad, get a visa, go to Delhi, etc. And they say, our visa is expiring, could you please extend it? And I said, look, I'm no one sitting here in Kargil to extend your visa. Why do you want it extended? The response always is, I speak Balti, which is the local language. And then they say, that's because your part of Kashmir is so beautiful, everything is free, etc., and we feel so secure. And then I say, well, I mean, the part that has been occupied by your country is also very beautiful. I've seen pictures. But don't you feel secure? You have your military there. And the response, ma'am, the response, forgive me. हाँ सर, मिलिट्री है, शाम को हमारी बेटियां ले जाते हैं, सुबह लौटा देते हैं. Can you believe this? I mean, I'm a father and I have two granddaughters. I I didn't know how to respond. And of course, I couldn't help them out. I said, look, we also have the army here. And they said, but they are our defenders, sir. वो तो हमारे दोस्त हैं. They are so polite to us. And then they turned to me and said, again, I mean, I'm sorry if I'm indulging in a bit of self-praise. One of them, who was the leader, he said, "Kash mere desh ke paas aap jaise Rajdoot hote." Well, I said, well, thank you very much. You guys would have been in deep trouble if I was your Rajdoot. So that was what happened. So I think now there is total, there's a feeling of cohesion. Nobody says don't do it. There are a couple of fellows here and there who have no idea what's going on. They'll keep shouting and screaming and yelling. But by and large, the people of India say that belongs to us, so let's take it back. Prime Minister was the first when he spoke in his Independence Day address. He raised the issue. He said, I've raised this issue, and people actually started emailing him saying, thank you for bringing this to international attention. We are being oppressed. We are very unhappy. Not too long ago, there was a Baloch woman who blew herself up inside the premises of Karachi University, and she didn't blow herself up in the name of Islam. She said she killed a few Chinese teachers there, and she said that we do not want Balochistan to become a Chinese colony. So I'm not doing this for the reason of religion. I'm doing this because we've been colonized. This was the first time. The first time there was a woman suicide bomber who did not use religion as the excuse. They're very, very significant. So we see these trends now happening. People all over the world who live there, I mean, they know that it's a matter of time. And we can do it. We can move in militarily. The cost of a war, it's easy to begin a war, very tough to end it. See what's happening in Ukraine. That's the recent example. And it's very expensive. So let me see what happened. But the people there, given half a chance, they would love to come to it. I mean, the freedom we have here.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.